Welcome to the second part of the BCNL Finance Your Business with Ease seminar. Usually, before you begin a business, you have to decide what kind of business you want it to be. Do you want to be a Me Too product, fighting with competition incessantly, or do you want to be on your own? Of course, it's only logical that you want an innovative product, but the problem is that up until now, innovation has been by inspiration. People stumble upon good ideas. They have never been practical steps to take that will ensure you come up with an innovative product. That's exactly what Blue Ocean Strategy does. It helps you create what we call uncontested markets and make your competition irrelevant. So it's important you decide, do I want to jump into the blue ocean or what we refer to as the red ocean? The first question is, what is Blue Ocean Strategy? Blue Ocean is a plan, meaning you have to sit down and strategize, have a strategy formulation and implementation phase. You don't stumble upon it by mistake. It says it's a sequence, meaning there are steps to follow in a sequential order: one step, two step, three step, and so on and so forth. You don't jump from step 1 to step 4, then to step 3, then to step 5. No, you follow the steps sequentially. It says they have processes, tools, frameworks, things you do that are designed to create what we call uncontested market spaces. A market where you'll be the only one there. When I say market, I mean people that are ready and willing and can afford to buy your products. You'll be the only person supplying them, making the competition irrelevant. What they do does not bother you anymore. We do this by what we call de-segmentation. Normally in orthodox business they tell you segment your market, but we say no, don't cone down to one area, expand, de-segment the market space. So the definition of blue ocean is a planned sequence of processes or events designed to create uncontested markets and make the competition irrelevant by desegmentation. Usually, the current market space, what we now do, the way we now carry out business, we call that the red ocean. The red ocean consists of all the products available right now and all the known market spaces available right now. You can see it's just a small space. What we're trying to get you to do is move from this space to what we call the blue ocean, which are unknown market spaces, uncontested market spaces, industries that are not in existence at the moment. Because it's a creative process, you will come up with something that is not in existence. As such, there's no market for it yet. You are the first person creating the market. Once you learn and apply these principles, no matter the product you have, you will come up with this unknown, uncontested market space. The way it is now in the red ocean, as you can see here, it's a bloody price war going on. There are lots of sharks in there. Everybody's competing based on price. As you know, in a market space, that's what we call 100% market share. I'll use the telecoms industry as an example. We have initially we had MTN, we had MTN, we had Zain, we had Glo. We can say the market space is 100%. Maybe MTN has 50, Glo has 30, and Airtel had 20. But for anyone to expand, they have to cut into the other person's space. You have to fight him, take over his market share. So it ends up being a bloody war. Whatever one does, the other one does. Cutthroat price war going on. Now Etisalat came in, jumped into that already existing market, already existing customer base, also fighting for the same people. It's a bloody battle going on. But funny enough, when Glo first came, they actually applied the blue ocean to an extent, because they came with per second billing focused on a different customer segment. When these phones first came out, they were for the elites, the big boys, and so on and so forth. But Glo came and focused on the drivers, the lower socioeconomic class, bringing in per second billing. So for a while, they were on their own until the rest jumped to that market. So even the blue ocean, we have to create barriers to imitate us. We'll talk about that later on. But first, for a while, you'll be on your own. We'll give you steps to ensure you are on your own, living the life in the blue ocean and making the money you deserve. The difference between the red ocean and the blue ocean. The red ocean is the way things are being done now. People are competing in an existing market space. There's already a product supplying these people, and they're all competing for the same people. While in blue ocean, we create uncontested markets. We bring a product that was not in existence before, so there are no customers for it. We create a demand for it. In red ocean, they are focused on beating the competition, but we focus in blue ocean on making the competition irrelevant. In red ocean, they exploit existing demand. They find more and more ways to exploit the demand they already have, but we focus on creating and capturing new demand. In red ocean, they focus on the value cost trade-off. They have to make the value cost trade-off. What does that mean? Usually, when the value of a product goes up, the price usually goes up also. If the value drops, the price also drops. But we in blue ocean said, no, we've broken this value cost trade-off. We can actually make the value go up and the price go down. If you remember in the introduction, I mentioned we'll hear some things that are contrary to our views. This is one of them. We can actually make value go up and price come down in blue ocean, breaking the value cost trade-off. Red ocean, you make a choice of differentiation or low cost. Usually in the orthodox business strategy techniques, you either focus on being the cheapest or you focus on being the best. But we in blue ocean say no, you can pursue both. You can be the best and you can be the cheapest. I know right now it doesn't sound realistic, but as we go along, you'll understand that this is the only logical way to go. So blue ocean as the only logical next step in business strategy. Let's look at the customer evolution. In the early 80s, customers said, give me what I want, how I want it, or I'll buy from someone else. They want what they want, how they want it, not mentioning price. If somebody else differentiates and increases the price, it's fine, they will go over there. But in this new millennium, it says, give me what I want, how I want it, when I want it, at the lowest possible price, because there are many people competing for the same customers. Technology has made things so easy. For instance, for this kind of seminar, you would like to print a pamphlet, a brochure. Ordinarily, you will have gone to a printer to do it, but now any Tom, Dick and Harry with a laptop and basic knowledge of computing can make a flyer on his own. So the supply has increased, but the demand remains the same. Now your competition is no longer even the person next to you. The competition, it might be the person in China. I have an example of a cousin of mine who had a phone shop, a big phone shop next to him, but he preferred buying his phones online because he could get it at a cheaper price from them. So the competition was not the neighbor of the phone shop, but somebody where he did not even know about. So supply keeps on increasing, but demand is remaining the same. The people in China are supplying us in Nigeria cheaper products than we make here. So we cannot compete on that level. We see here increased supply, but static or reduced demand leads to cutthroat red ocean price wars. What we need to do in the blue ocean is to reduce supply by being the only people doing it, create a demand, and then have a blue ocean of uncontested markets. The next question is, why is blue ocean strategy not more readily utilized if I say it's so good? I'll answer that with a question. Can you use something you don't know about? People don't know about it. The other ways, the red ocean strategies, the orthodox business techniques and strategies have been studied for over 75 years. People have studied it in detail, have come up with tools and strategies and techniques. We know about the Potter's 5 forces. We know about SWOT analysis, pest analysis, and so on and so forth. There are tools to carry out this other way. So people are basically moving in the area of least resistance. They know they need an innovative product, but they don't know how to do it. Fortunately for us, Blue Ocean has now come to show you how to go about doing it. The cornerstone of Blue Ocean is what we call value innovation. Value innovation. That's what we call value improvement, which means you improve the value and you increase the cost. That's what we call innovation for innovation's sake, meaning the product is now innovative, but nobody cares. But value innovation does the direct opposite. It increases the value and reduces the costs. Cost savings are made by eliminating and reducing the factors an industry competes on. There are many factors industries compete on right now that are not necessary. For instance, I own a hospital visiting physician services, but I don't have a hospital structure. I don't have a pharmacy. I don't have a lab, but I can do anything any hospital can do. I have access to all these things, meaning it's not a necessity for me to do it. So I've cut my costs radically. It reminds me of a story of this barracks where the brigadier general constantly kept two soldiers guarding a concrete cement slab all night, every day. How did this come about? In the beginning, the commandant before him actually just laid the cement, and because it was still wet, animals used to walk on it at night. So he positioned two soldiers there to stay there until it is dry so that the animal's footprints will not affect it. But before it was dry, he was posted out of the place. And so the other brigadier general just kept on tradition. The slab was dry, but soldiers stood there every night continuously without knowing why. It's the same in many industries. For instance, in the airline industry in the US, that's what we call Southwest Airlines, which I feel Aero is trying to take some tips from. What they actually did was cut their costs radically. For instance, you're going from Lagos to Port Harcourt. Do you need food on the plane? You don't. Cut it out. All the paperwork, tickets, and the rest of them, cut it out. What they do is they send you your number, you get to the counter, give them the number, and check in, or use your phone to check in. So by cutting out a lot of things, they could reduce their prices drastically. And once they did that, they could fly more. Their price was actually the price of road transport. Imagine taking 5,000 or 6,000 from here to Lagos, the same as the price of the car. So they could now do more. So they cut costs. It also reminds me of another story of a young lady who constantly cut the edges of her bread loaf before she put them in the oven. She would cut one side, cut the other side. So one day her husband was curious. He said, "Darling, why do you keep on doing this?" She said she does not know that her mother does it that way. Okay, he was bent on getting to the end of this. So you know what he did? He picked up the phone. He called the mom, said, "Mom, why do you cut the edges of your loaf before you put it in the oven?" She said she doesn't know that was how her grandmother did it. Still bent on getting to the end of this thing, he called the grandmother. The grandmom says when she was younger, the pans for the oven were too small for the entire loaf of bread. So she used to cut the edges. So that's just the way it is here most times. Some things you don't need in your industry, you keep on doing them because people are doing them. Look at it critically and cut those things and reduce your price. Then how do you increase buyer value? It says buyer value is lifted by raising and creating elements in the industry that were never before offered. Again, I'll use my business as an example, visiting physician services. We noticed that the main problem with patients was adherence to treatment. Many times they forget, many times they claim they forget. So we came up with a tool using the bulk SMS platform. If we prescribe medication for you, what we do is that we schedule it in our bulk SMS platform with dosage. So you get text messages at times of your drugs. This has markedly increased the value, but at no much cost to us. So in that sense, our costs have reduced, but our value to the patients have increased. You can also find ways of doing this. Technology has made things much easier. Even a little personal attention that will cost you nothing can increase the buyer value. So with this cornerstone value innovation, you can actually reduce costs and increase value. We'll show you tools on how to get this done.